we last left off last week, we were just wrapping up on Minilock Island at the Secret Lagoon and Gigi's Beach, looking across at Shimizu Island and pondering the history of the name. The story that we had been told was that the name was given by Imperial Japanese Navy sailors, as the characters for the name mean clear or pure and water, respectively. While this is indeed possible, there's no cohesive evidence for it. There's also the theory that since Shimizu is a relatively common surname in Japanese, that it was named by a captain or officer of the Navy after themselves, but there's also no verifiable evidence for this. There's even a story that can be found repeated on multiple tourism websites, including this one published by the government of the Philippines that claims that the name was given after a Japanese tourist who was exploring an underwater cave on the island when they drowned and washed up on the beach, and the island was given their name in their memory. However, he's only ever identified as Mr. Shimizu, and finding evidence that this ever happened, even just news articles from the time outlining it, have proven equally elusive during our research on the topic. Another possible theory that I've seen thrown around a lot, even by actual guides, is that it was named after the last Japanese soldiers that were found after the war. This one is verifiably untrue, as we know the last Japanese soldier found in the Philippines was Hiroo Onoda. Onoda? Hiroo Onoda. Hiro Onoda, my bad. Found on Lubang Island in 1974. Yes, you read and heard that right. 1974, he was still fighting World War II. Anyway, that zoo was looking mighty shimmy if I don't say so myself, so let's get to it. This is where we were scheduled to have our lunch, which will be brought along for you on your boat and included in the tour price. But if that's not enough, there is this little stall selling alcoholic or non-alcoholic carbonated beverages of your choice, and of course, rum coconuts, which may be able to be purchased sans rum, we just never tried. Anyway, on whatever tour you book, the meal will likely be about the same: some barbecue pork and maybe some chicken, a grilled fish, some roast veggies, and of course rice. Some of the previous things may be interchangeable, but you know where you are. Sit down and eat your rice. It's good for you. Of course, after eating lunch, we jumped in the ocean. There's a classic old saying that goes something like, if you want to eat a whale, you should swim after eating, or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I've never tried whale, and I figure now is as good a time as any. Also, it turns out that fish love bananas. Just an FYI. Now, we have lots of pretty fish here, but we were assured that there were bound to be more on the opposite side of the island, so we gathered up the rest of the team and made our way back to the boat. If any stragglers from the team didn't make it on board, it's not a huge loss because I don't seem to be missing anyone. They can stay on the island. It's time for us to pull out now. Now, the advertisements for Tour A only show 4 destinations, all of which are documented here, the first 2 in our previous video, but we definitely went to 5 locations, and sitting here weeks later while editing, I cannot for the life of me remember what the name of this place was, but our team ended up calling it Jellyfish Bay, for probably unsurprising reasons, so we get to keep up our mystery theme for this next spot. Enjoy now, sirs and ma'ams! Anyway, that's enough of that. If you wanted a straight up snorkeling channel, you could get one hosted by like a fish or something. Or maybe some kind of aquatic bird. Perhaps a hippopotamus? No, a capybara. Well, whatever, stop distracting me. We have one more destination to get to today. So while I snooze off all that snorkeling, the team set sail for what was by far the most attended of the destinations that we'd made it to here yet. And that'll be the 7 Commando Beach. Not 7 Commandos Beach, apparently. Along the lines of the sarcastic comment that the tubby intern made while sailing up, that I'm sure there's a nice story behind that name. It actually turned out to be way more interesting than just American invaders. The go-to second assumption would be the Japanese, and that is a major theory, with many sites claiming that 7 Japanese sailors were stranded here after their submarine was sunk. However, said sunken submarine has never been found in the area since. This is also shadowed with doubt by the fact that one of the main stories about the place is that when locals came across it again, it had the words 7 Commando carved into a rock, and why would that be in English if it was written by Japanese sailors? Small aside here, it turns out that if you put the word 7 Commando into Google Translate English to Japanese, it will give you this: Sebun Commando. So maybe it's a cultural cross-pollination from later years? I don't know. Anyway, the second major theory, and I would argue the most likely, is that it was a group of local Filipino resistance fighters that got stranded on this beach. The other theory is that it was just Filipino fishermen who washed ashore when their boat was damaged, and they carved the rock before having left, but then why would they mention Commando? Anyway, it's not like anybody comes here for the hypothetical history anyway, they come here because it looks like this. There are worse places to imagine being stranded. Well, it's been cool, but we couldn't stay forever, so click that like button, pause, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later!